Good morning. It's Inside Tennessee. Donde Plowman, the UT Chancellor, is our guest this morning, Sunday morning in Inside Tennessee. Chancellor, we're looking at some pictures. I recognize that lady with you. That was Mary Costa. And then it looks like we're here in Germany. You and UT System President Boyd and another chancellor, I think, took a trip to Germany. What were y'all doing?
Yes, we did. We went to visit VW. We have been a strong partner. UTK has been, in terms of research with VW, for quite some time. They established in 2020 their first innovation hub in North America, right here at Cherokee Farm. So we have employees of VW who are getting their PhDs, employees of VW who are overseeing that and working with faculty to come up with new innovative ways of doing things like, we're experts in materials science here. How do you come up with a material that is stronger than steel but very lightweight? We're working on that together. All the work we're doing with batteries, with the electric vehicles. So we've been working with them for quite some time. So we went to try to see what they're doing, their innovation hubs there in Germany. And it was a great trip. We learned so much, and it was strengthening the relationship.
I think Randy Boyd really talked about maybe embedding students or grad students or what have you with industry, because industry wants to sort of get them there at an earlier time.
That's right. It's a perfect example of our faculty know something about a substance that they need. And so how can we craft it and put it together in a way that's useful to them? I'll give you an example of a story. Their CEO came here maybe 2 months ago, and we gave him a tour over in Cherokee Farm of what we're doing over there. Also located on the campus is Eastman, who is working very hard at trying to figure out a way to take plastic bottles back down to their molecular level and then turn it into a type of material that you can use permanently.
Amen.
They've been working with Volkswagen and showed their CEO this little drink holder that could go in a car. And it was completely made out of what was formerly plastic bottles. That was really cool. That's the kind of innovative research that's happening. And so then again at Chattanooga, with the plant, they're looking at ways that they don't have quite the research intensity that we do, but they were looking at what they can do right there in the plant in the future. And it was just a great trip. It really was.
Part of what you've described is ensuring that students have some place to go after they graduate. Their degree means something. It's applied immediately to the workforce.
Correct.
Step back a little bit. For boomers and Gen Xers, it used to be you go to college and kind of figure out what you want to do then. How has that changed, Chancellor?
Well, I would say 2 or 3 things are pushing that. Parents expect their child is going to go to the university and yes, grow up, become independent, but also get headed towards not just a job, but a career path. And I don't think in higher ed we've done enough working towards that. Last year, 90% of our graduates either had a job or were going to graduate school, that's the metric we use, within 6 months of graduating. That's the highest we've ever had. So we've got to keep working at that. And I think, historically, it hasn't really been, the universities haven't taken that role that seriously. But today we have to, because it's a big investment to go to college.
We talked a little bit about this off camera. Before you became the chancellor, one of UT's goals was sort of to let's equal Alabama, Florida in terms of their academic successes, and then we can beat them. And I asked you then, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where are you today? Where is UT today? Because I think you think things are much better.
Oh, I do. And I tell you, we actually don't set our goals like that, sort of comparatively. For example, we're trying to achieve in the research area, and doing great, by the way. We've had, in the last year, 160% increase in our research awards. That means NSF, NIH are giving us awards, then we spend the money. We are a university without a medical school. And so in the rankings, that we're not trying to compete against schools who have medical schools. We're trying to compete among those that don't. And our goal is to become 5th in the country among universities without a med center. So we've set a different type of goal. We're growing, and our research is growing. This year, a big jump in graduate students. And a lot of that contributes to your research profile overall.
We've talked about academics, but the late Joe Johnson was famous for saying athletics in in particular football, is the front porch of any university.
Yeah.
Agree with that? And what is
100%,
success
100%.
done?
And you know, Randy had me interview with him when I interviewed for this job. And I remember sitting there in this hotel meeting room and him asking me about athletics. And we kind of got into that conversation then. And it absolutely is true. If you look at the success we're having as a university in the last couple of years, you cannot separate it from the success we've been having in athletics. People enter into the university's sort of sphere of experience through athletics many times, whether it's just watching on TV. We had multiple games with over 1 million viewers. So like, I think last year it was 20 million viewers, they weren't all different, saw what we were doing. And that's just incredible marketing for you. It's an opportunity to tell your story.
It's a woo factor.
It is a woo factor. Okay, you're getting up to speed on all this.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Chancellor, that's a little inside baseball for people who don't know about this, but let's touch on this because there's a survey that each freshman now takes at the University of Tennessee that explains their strengths after they take it. What have you learned by that, and what have students, do you think, learned by it as well?
So we've been focusing on student success. If we're going to admit all these students, we are committing to get them graduated. And the best way to do that is to help them be successful by leveraging the strengths that they have. So this started with Dawn Clifton, an educational psychologist in Nebraska, who said, you know what, let's quit worrying about what's wrong with people and focus on what's right with them. And so 19,000 students now have taken this strengths assessment. And I can tell you what the top 2 strengths are of the last 3 years. They were the same. One of them is restorative. This generation of kids coming to Tennessee want to solve problems. That's what restorative means. And the second one is competitive. So, you know, they want to compete about things.
That says a lot.
And we know that if they'll leverage those strengths, they can be successful in college and in life beyond. So really excited about that.
We've got to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee. Back with more questions, but if you'd like to see that survey, it's through Gallup, and it's called the Clifton Strengths Survey, and you can take it right now. It may cost you some cash if you're not at the University of Tennessee, but it's an interesting little survey about yourself. We'll be back on this Sunday morning.